All right, in tonight's Biz Blitz, President Obama signing an executive order imposing new sanctions on North Korea after the recent hack attacks on Sony. Back with our all-stars here. Rob, there are others say that North Korea might not have had anything to do with this, and or maybe at worst was paying, someone inside who was disgruntled. But be that as it may, do you think this does anything? Well,
our FBI says that that is the case, that they're absolutely certain that North Korea actually did this. But the reaction of the president does not surprise me in the slightest bit. This is something we have to do. We have to protect American interests. This is an attack. It might not be a physical attack. They're not dropping bombs on us. But when they attack the infrastructure of the American economy, it's a big deal. So I'm glad that he did this.
Why can't we just take out their internet like I think we did last week? Why can't we just do that, Katrina?
Well, we can. We can do a number of things, but this happens to be the most heavily sanctioned country on the planet, and they continue to go oppositionally defiant on every level. This approach, I think, is going to be different because it looks like they're going after its own financial infrastructure. And I've been saying from the beginning, the only way we can tame these hostile nations is to simply stop funding them.
All right, but I thought they had sanctions up the yin-yang, Ashley, to little avail.
They do.
Right?
Yeah, they definitely do. They're the most heavily sanctioned country, I believe, in the world. And yet, it's great that Obama is taking leadership on something for once. But at the same time, he blamed Sony, a week or two ago for the exact same thing now. So, yes, he has to come out and impose sanctions on them. But do I think that they'll be effective? Probably not. I do think last week, shutting down their internet for 10 hours, if we did have something to do with it. So far, I guess we haven't commented. I think that's,
I admire that,
probably the better way to go.
That's a Tony Soprano response.
Yeah,
you shut down
well,
us, we shut down you.
You would like that. But it's true. I mean, that's a fair response, I think, in retribution for what happened. Show that we can, outdo them in some ways. Hey, you think you were smart? Guess what? We can do the same thing right back to you.
Yeah. Well, your lights are out. How do you like that? All right, on to issue 2 here. The price is wrong. How much do Price is Right contestants think an iPhone costs? Take a look.
$7,500.
$7,500. 7,500. Mark.
What was it?
7,500.
7,501.
Hope the marketing people at Apple are watching this.
That's what happens when you watch CNBC. See what I'm saying? Ashley, after seeing this, should Apple be raising its prices right now?
I mean, it's fair. They clearly value them at way more than they're worth. Now, to me, though, watching that, I was actually shocked to find out a new iPhone 6 costs about $1,100 with a data plan, because it makes me wonder how so many people can afford iPhones. I mean, I know that when I went in to get my iPhone 5, I already had a data plan through Verizon, but I know it didn't cost me that much. It was like $150 with the upgrade. So that shows you right there just how much one little cell phone is worth. I mean, that's not even the 6 Plus. That's the iPhone 6.
Well, maybe
and
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt.
$1,100.
Well, that's a very good point, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that they were trying to factor in the calling plans, but I don't think they were. I think they were.
Even if they factored in the calling plans, first off, the guesses were ridiculous. I mean, it's not $7,500. It's not $7,501.
It's like $3,500.
Apple should be happy,
we should all know that.
They're not going to raise their prices. I mean, the pricing for their products and services are already at an all-time high. What this is a testament to their marketing, what people feel about their brand. Those were just 2 regular Americans, but what it also shows is how out of touch Americans are with their own finances.
Well, then again, Hillary Clinton doesn't know how much a gallon of milk costs, so.
Oh, but wait, come on, guys. I mean, we're talking about an iPhone here. The American public, when you compare the iPhone to the Obama phone, which simply just talks and texts, that looks like a huge difference in technology there.
You know what I like about you guys? You could take any issue and bring it back to the incompetence of President Obama. Touche on that. But I'm just saying, in all seriousness, if I'm Apple and I'm hearing this, and people will pay mightily for our product, and they don't discount anything, right? Rarely do they. Right?
Yeah, no, they don't discount anything.
So,
why should they? I wouldn't either.
Why should they, right? If I'm Apple and say, geez, we'll charge $3,500.
Well, but Neil, the
be
part
dumb
they didn't tell you is she was factoring in the cost of the NSA agent that's going to be hired to monitor that phone.
Well, there is that. There is that.
The government pension and salary that's in there too for that NSA agent.
Exactly.
Really, the federal government's technically paying for it somehow.
You guys are carrying this hate into the new year.
I am not jumping on that.
You are not jumping into this. All right, on to issue 3. The new Republican-led Congress making plans to strike back against the White House's food policies. Katrina, is 2015 the year we take our Twinkies back? What they're talking about here is saying, all right, Michelle Obama's lunch program isn't panning out, kids aren't eating the stuff, and they're going to reverse it.
Well, I think 2015, every Tuesday should be Twinkie Day. Every American should go on Twitter eating their Twinkies and tweet the White House to show them that we own our own.
Ashley, what do you think?
Neil, I think 2015 will be the year of the chicken fry. I know how much you love those, as do I. So I think those will come back because I think the GOP-led Congress will definitely bring them back now. But this whole calorie counting thing from the FDA is ridiculous. It's going to end up costing like $1.2 billion for the industry alone to start doing that. So I do think that while America does have an obesity problem, and I will admit that, I do think that, you know, bringing in wide sweeping and overreaching government regulations definitely does nothing to solve the problem, and it's not the solution to our problems.
Could I just digress? I think obesity is a strong word, but when they upped it to morbidly obese, I don't think that's necessary. Really?
Well, they call it a disease now,
Yeah,
so
well,
I don't
Neil,
know.
Think about it. Even if the School Nutrition Association has basically gotten behind this, they represent 55,000 schools, and they're against this. If the School Nutrition Association is against
they're
this,
against the lunch program?
they're against the actual regulations because they feel that it's being wasteful. Kids aren't eating the fruit that they're putting on their plates. They're not eating the vegetables.
But maybe I'm going to try to give the First Lady the benefit of the doubt here that, you know, it's like my kids. If they don't eat something and say, no, I'm not going to eat, well, you know, I said we're going to have the same thing all the time, and eventually you're going to eat it.
Yeah, but have you seen the
You're
pictures
right, Neil,
of it?
but people have a right to know, right? People have a right to know what they're putting in their body, whether it's good or bad. So I like the idea. The problem is it should never come from the top down. It should come from the states. States should make those regulations, and businesses can decide.
Getting fat.
We have an obesity. Issue.
States are trying.
We have an obesity issue, but we also have a bigger issue. 7% of high school students don't graduate. 25% take extra time to graduate.
Because they're too busy getting obese.
We have a problem with the education first, food second.
All right. Ashley, final word on that.
Well, here's how we tie it back to Obama. You do know that the FDA regulations in there were actually stuffed into Obamacare. So this $1.2 billion, you know, thing on the industry now is actually coming from Obamacare.
Ashley, I love
and
you
it was
to death,
stuffed
but
in there.
you're a hater. And this cold snap they're going to have in the country next week, Obama.